Do you know what the hardest part of buying an RV is? Whether it's a travel trailer, a toy hauler, a fifth wheel, a motorhome. Do you know what the toughest part is? Shopping for it. And of course, no, I'm not here to tell you which brand is the best or what RV to buy or how much to spend. That's between you and your family. That has nothing to do with me. That's not my job. What I'm here to do is help you actually simplify the process. Because when you go to a big show like the Tampa RV Super Show or any show across the United States, it can feel really overwhelming because there's so many things to look at and so many brands and so many manufacturers. And when you look at the prospect that a lot of YouTube is over negative about the RV industry, and a lot of YouTube is also over positive about the industry. It's hard to know who to believe. It's hard to know who to trust. It's hard to know what you're really getting yourself into. But there's 5 phases that I always try to get people to go through to actually simplify their search, simplify their shopping. Because a lot of folks don't want to be confined. They want to have an open experience. And I understand that. But sometimes when you simplify things, you know exactly what you're going to go look at. And at the same time, it can help you make a better decision. Now, the first phase I'm going to talk about is research. And I'm not talking about research and what the best brand is. I'm not talking about research and what dealer is the best. Nothing of that nature. The research I'm referring to is what type of camping you want to do, because that is going to help you actually narrow down what type of RV is best for you and your family. Period. That is what it's about. It's not about whether Camping World's the best or Brinkley or Winnebago or Forest River. Has nothing to do with that. It has to do with what is best for you and your family and what type of camping you want to do. So research, what I'm referring to is national parks, state parks. What type of camping do you want to do? Do you want to do more off the grid? Do you want to do like deep in the desert, deep in the forest where nobody's at, where nobody can hear you? Well, that sounds like a horror movie. But anyway, do you want to be at parks where there's full hookups and pools and showers that have better water pressure than most RVs? Or do you want to be kind of a hybrid? Maybe you want to go down to do what we call dry camping on your favorite lake where there's no hookups, but there's a general store and there's bathrooms. I mean, everybody camps differently. And it's one of the things I try to really impose on people is when you have a neighbor that tells you how they camp, it's going to be different than how you camp. It's going to be different than how you RV. And especially, you see a lot of people that get bigger as years go on. They might start with a 17-foot travel trailer and they build themselves up to a 45-foot full-time RV living type of situation. There are folks that start out as a full-time RVer in a 45-foot motorhome or 45-foot fifth wheel or fifth wheel toy hauler and downsize to a van. Everybody camps differently. So try to simplify your search by basically making the first decision was, what kind of camping do you want to experience first? The hardest phase to talk about is phase 2. And the reason being is because a lot of people like to keep things close to the vest. That's what you're taught. You're taught as a consumer, your job is to get the best deal possible. Whether you're buying a car, a house, never expose what your budget is, because if you expose what your budget is, you may not get the best deal possible. That's what you're taught all over YouTube when it comes to buying a car, buying a refrigerator, buying a apartment complex or a townhome. That's what we're taught. Now, I completely understand that. The car industry is humongous. Lots of manufacturers, lots of manufacturer incentives, lots of manufacturer financing, lots of manufacturer lease programs. So I totally get it. You got a bunch of dealers within a 2-hour drive of you that are fighting over a couple bucks. So that makes sense in the car industry. But when it comes to the RV industry, you really need to set a budget. Not what you can afford, but what you're willing to spend. There's a difference. You can make $250,000 a year and you're like, you know what? I know I'm only going to take 3 or 4 trips a year. I don't want to spend 50 or 60 grand on a travel trailer. I would rather spend 15 to 18 grand. Well, when you shop your budget, it starts to actually help you with your research. Give you a great example. See, there's a used Springdale right there that's actually a consignment. You could buy it for like $16,000 used. It's got plenty of space, half-ton towable. Nice little trailer. It's actually looks really good inside. Exterior looks worn, but the interior is actually in really good shape. There's a lot of folks that would rather spend 15 or 16 grand on a nice used travel trailer than to spend 75 or $80,000 on a new fifth wheel. That's fine. There's nothing embarrassing or inordinary about actually exposing your budget and shopping your budget. When you shop your budget, well, no matter what it is, whether it's $10,000, whether it's $1 million, it helps shrink down what you're looking at. Okay. I'll give you a great example. Okay. And then we're going to get into phase 3. So this Essence fifth wheel is an example. Okay. You could buy this for 40 grand. Who says that $40,000 is the right amount of money? Maybe you feel like, hey, you know what? I like it, but it doesn't have, I like the price, but I don't like that doesn't have all the equipment that I'm looking for. Auto level system. Maybe you're looking for a generator. So, and that's going to be a great segue into phase 3. Okay. But the reality is okay, now that you know that, you can't go shop a $125,000 fifth wheel and try to expect to get it for 40 grand. But if you're looking for pre-owned and you know exactly what the list of things you're looking for on that fifth wheel or on that travel trailer or on that motorhome, or things that can be added to it for within your budget, it makes the shopping experience easier. It actually makes it better, whether you're going to buy from a dealer or whether you're going to buy from private party. And that's a great segue into phase 3. Phase 3 has a little bit of phase 1 involved in it, okay? And it brings about what equipment is actually going to benefit you and the family, okay? And this is where I would go to a lot of DIY YouTubers and kind of look at how they put together an older RV or a newer RV for the type of camping they do. Match up the type of camping that these DIY YouTubers do to what you want to do. And then see what kind of equipment may or may not be beneficial. I'll give you a great example, guys. This is a great example of this, okay? So I took in a used Wolf Creek truck camper on consignment. Now, normally these go for like 43, 45 grand selling price, not MSRP. I never go MSRP because MSRP is a joke. Okay. It's really a lending institution thing. But this Wolf Creek right here, this is a long bed truck camper. Okay. It has no generator, but it has 2 solar panels. So the guy who's going to go out into areas and hunt in the fall, in the winter, maybe do some fishing in the spring, not going to go into temperatures above 95 degrees. That works perfect for that guy because he could take a portable generator with him to run the microwave and things like that. And he's got enough solar on there, and you put the right battery combo, and you can go dry camping for days by yourself without a problem. So just kind of configuring what is important to you equipment-wise. I talked to a gentleman the other day that he's got a used motorhome budget, but wants an auto level system. It's the one thing he's got to have. And that's because he's an older gentleman. He doesn't want to get out and put blocks and do all that crap. He wants a Class C motorhome with an auto level system for about $35,000 to $38,000. By the time we both sat down and kind of looked at how much it would cost to install one of them, he basically lowered his budget down to 27, 28 grand. And I believe he'll find something for that. I think he will. And then he'll add the auto level system. And then he's going to be within where he wants to spend money. So equipment is a big factor involved. Now, I wouldn't go to guys like me or Josh the RV Nerd or Matt's RV Reviews for equipment. I would go to DIY guys because they're going to be more on the boots on the ground, going camping. Don't go to somebody trying to sell you I mean, they're still going to try to sell you the stuff online through affiliate links and things like that, but at least it'll give you some kind of homework to do. Now, phase 4 is the most difficult overall phase of the entire process, okay? And that is, do not go in every single unit on a dealer lot or at a show. Limit yourself to how many units you're going to see based on what kind of floor plan you might see online that you like. Be upfront about, hey, yes, I saw this 251 bunkhouse by Jayco, and I want to see floor plans like that. That way you're guided through and you don't go in and out of every single unit. Because when you go in and out of every single RV on a dealership lot or at a show, you will be ultimately confused. You'll be so confused that by the time it's all over, you're going to go, I quit. I don't want to deal with it. Because that's the hard part. Then you got to start all over again because you didn't get an experience to narrow it down. You might like something online that might look, hey, through video, 3D tours or 360 tours, pictures, you might go, that's perfect. Then you go walk inside of it and you go, oh man, maybe it's a little too big. Maybe it's a little too small. Maybe it's the wrong color, the wrong feeling, the wrong vibe, whatever that case may be. Well, then you can scratch it off your list and go, okay, this is what's important to me. So what I would do in phase 4 is I would take a notepad with you everywhere you go, and I would write down in your mind, what are the top 5 things that are the most important to you? And I'm not talking about equipment. I'm talking about floor plan here. Equipment we already talked about. So I'll give you a great example, okay? Let's go into this Sanibel. This is a used fifth wheel, okay? It's a 38-footer. I think it's a bitchin' floor plan. It's got a lot of windows, stuff like that, okay? All right, let's go inside here. Okay. So what I'm referring to is you walk into a coach like this and you go, you know what? I don't like the TV back there. I love the L-shaped couch. I love the kitchen counter. You know, I wish there was more pantry space. Just start writing those things down. And then as you go in every one of them, because none of them are going to be perfect. No matter what you look at, none of them are going to be 100% of what you want. There's going to be stuff you don't like about every unit. There's no customization like that. But you can get pretty close to 70% of what you're looking for, right? So the reality is once you've kind of gotten this down pat and you actually sit down, then you go home. You start going, okay, let's start eliminating some things. Okay, I don't need this much kitchen counter space. I'd rather have the L-shaped lounge, the TV in some other corner, and I don't need all these windows like this. I could use more storage. And then you can start looking and narrowing it down to, oh, this is the perfect fifth. This has 70% what I'm looking for. It fits the truck. It fits the budget. And now you get to shop for the best price and the best deal on that unit or on that floor plan. Then you get to go equipment and go through all the other phases. And again, it doesn't matter really how you look at things because price, payment, down payment, whether you're paying cash or financing, it all correlates. And that's a great segue. And that brings me to phase 5. Phase 5 is whether you're going to pay cash or finance. Now, this is different than setting a budget, okay? Now, I will say this, and it'll make a lot of people upset. Cash buyers do not get a better deal than finance buyers. And the reason why, and you can scream to high heaven that that's unfair, and I get it. I understand why you think it would be more beneficial to pay cash. Now, there is one exception. If you're buying a unit that cannot be financed, then of course cash gets you a better deal. What I mean by that is, let's say you find a 2004 or 2005 motorhome, those can't be financed. They're 20 plus years old. Then cash is king. But when it comes to something like that Flagstaff Microlight, the actual dealership makes money from the bank to get a loan. And it's the same interest rates as your credit union. So you actually get a better deal overall and can have more power to negotiate a deal if you finance through the dealership. Now, if you decide to buy privately, that's a whole different scenario. Now, what I would really recommend is we already talked about how much you want to spend. 14 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand, 100 grand, $1 million, whatever that budget is. Now, what you really need to do is get into an RV loan calculator and calculate payment, down payment, and cash selling price. And I'll give you guys an example, okay? Let's say that you set a budget of 25 grand. You don't want to spend really any more than that. You found some decent used fiberglass trailers for $25,000, but you're looking for a payment around $180 with $2,500 down. That loan doesn't exist. That loan exists for an $18,000 trailer. So price and payment correlate. So if you're looking at, and the older you go, just to let you know, the older you go, and I'll get more detail in a minute, but the older you go doesn't mean cheaper payment. The cheaper you go doesn't mean cheaper payment. But if you're buying something newer within the last 3 to 5 years, okay, you could pretty much say that 1.25% of the purchase price is going to equal your payment if you have good credit. Now, for a lot of information about how RV financing works, in the top right-hand corner of this video, there's actually a playlist of all, I think I've done like 60 videos on how RV financing works. Bad credit, good credit, fair credit, all kinds of stuff. Older motorhomes, over 100 grand, all kinds of things. But I hope this information was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and thank you for watching.